welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about betta fish. So this is going to be a different type of video, not usual plant content, because I did think something different would be better for plant content change type of thing. And I've been thinking about making this video for a month, but I've just been postponing it, and now here I am doing it. Alright, now let's just jump right into the video. Seriously don't know why I keep forgetting to say this part of the intro every single time that I have to keep adding on to it in the past couple of videos. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And yeah, now let's really get right into the video. So here's my little betta fish right here. His name is Rainbow because he has blue, red, and green, and turquoise. So he's all colors of rainbow, and the day we got him there's a rainbow outside, so we decided to name him Rainbow. So here's Rainbow. He appears to be big in the glass, but he's the smallest betta fish there, and he is a male betta fish. So yeah, and you can tell because he has longer fins while females have shorter fins. First thing we're going to be talking about is tank setup, and I did not write down the things that I'm supposed to discuss in this video, so sorry for that if I sound so jumbled up. And I did move my fish tank from there to here. Let me try to show you. From there to here, so you guys have something visually to see while I'm making this video and not just my face. So first thing to see is the heating around the area you live. So I live in North Carolina, and if you live in Florida, you might not need a heater at all, because it's really like Florida and Texas area, like the western, you might not need a heater at all because it's very warm year round there. Oops. So you might not need a heater, but if you live up in like Boston or like Washington, that type of thing, then you might need a heater that has more watts, and the rule is 5 watts per gallon. And yeah, so the heating really depends on where you are. I got a 10-watt heater over here for a 2-gallon tank. So yeah, and that just brought us into our second thing we're going to discuss in tank setup, which is tank size. So the bare minimum for a betta tank is 2.5 gallons. But I know that like 2.5 gallon tanks are like continuously sold out, so you can't really find them that much. So this one is from a thrift store. So it was about $4 and it was really cheap, and it's also glass. I wouldn't recommend plastic. It's just not environmentally friendly, and you can't put a heater in if you get a plastic tank as well. Not stress this enough, 2 gallons is like really a necessity, because this thing is going to be living in this thing for its whole entire life. So yeah, 2-gallon tank. I know that people are going to be disliking this video and yeah, writing me in comments, because obviously people have a very different opinion on tank sizes. And many people can't afford a 1-gallon tank, and then you might say, why get a fish in the first place? Because people might need to get a companion or something, even though fish don't really do something, and they do really reduce stress by 20%. That's scientifically proven. And yeah, and another reason to get a fish and put it in a little larger tank is because they're sold in cups that literally have a cup of space for them to swim in, and most fish live their whole entire life in there, barely getting fed. So it's best to adopt them and give them more food and keep them in a bigger tank, a little bigger tank at least, than to leave them in there left to die. I'll also be linking a video in the description box below about the abuse that betta fish are put through. If that's something you're interested in, it's about 2 minutes or something, you should really go check that out as well. So yeah, 2 gallons is a highly recommended space, and nothing under 2 gallons, not even 1.9 is recommended at all. Just 2 gallons tops max. That's literally what Google says, nothing less than that, not even a cup. Here's something that's necessary that I don't really need because of your time, actually. So if you don't have a filter, which this topic is about the filter, you will need to change the water once a week on Fish Friday that I made up on my own. So I change it every Friday, every week, tops. Yeah, and same with plant cuttings here, like we need to change the water weekly, so there's oxygen that's regenerated inside there, so the roots of your roots of the plants can breathe, and so does your fish, because the gills pick up the oxygen in the water to be able to breathe. So that's the connection that I just made. So yeah. So make sure you're changing the water for one reason, that the oxygen is gonna circulate. And the other reason that on the top there's a little layer of mildew that's gonna prevent the oxygen from transferring between the water and the air, which will need to be refreshed every week. And it's gonna get really gross, and your fish is gonna poop in there. And my fish poops like big chunks, like you won't believe for a small fish how big it poops, and it will be sleeping in there for the whole entire day. And that's like reason that 2 other betta fish in the past died, because I had this guy for 6 months, which is like terrific. And yeah, 6 months, and he's still going strong. And betta fish that are adopted from the grocery store live up to 1.5 years, but they can live longer with the best care. To mention another reason why you should be using a filter is if the oxygen keeps pumping into the water again and again. And I'm not such a busy individual, so I'm willing to change the water every 5 days if I need to. I don't really find the need of having a filter. And also, this is very important, if you have a tank size of 3 gallons, that's the only reason why you should be using a filter for betta fish exceptionally, as betta fish are like really not the greatest swimmers, one because of their tail and the speed they can swim at. So anything under 3 gallons you should not be having a filter, because the fish aren't such great swimmers, so there's chances, I heard horror stories that their whole entire betta fish was sucked in, or just like ripped in half, because such a strong filter. So if you do have something under 2 gallons, and you can get like the slowest filter possible and then barricade it with a sponge. That's like the most you could do. And yeah, if you have anything under 3 gallons, because it could really get just like sucked in, and that's especially if your betta fish is male, there's a higher chance, as they're always at the surface for air if you don't have a filter. So yeah, now that we're done with the necessities, we're gonna move on to the accessories. So this part is just for you and the betta fish interest as well. So the first need that you're gonna need for having a betta fish is a lid. And in this case, I'm just using this to-go box lid over here that I burnt holes in here and here, and this is the feed hole, or the hole where I would put plant cuttings through. So I put plant cuttings through it because really helps with the oxygen transfer. And I did have this golden pothos in there that I just started to pot up because it started getting root rot because of staying in the water for too long. And I did put in these Ganapsis pictus exotica cuttings in there, but then like I thought the roots were the little pellets that I give it, so it started eating it. I didn't want it to die, so I decided to take it out. And it wasn't like a one-time thing where it learned that it shouldn't eat it, it just kept nibbling on it. So I took it out, and now there's currently nothing in there. I'm thinking about getting a Marimo moss ball that really helps the oxygen and everything in there. And yeah, and Marimo moss balls are really great houseplants as well. I just need to throw that in there. But yeah, lid is a necessary thing, especially if you have a female fish or a fish with shorter tail. Then a lid is necessary, as it has higher chances of jumping out. And this guy really doesn't jump out, and I did just put this on there so mosquitoes just don't land in there and start dying in there. But also, if the fish decides to fly out and it hits this, it might just like fall back in, but the lid might fall out, and it needs a lot of energy to try it again, so it probably won't do it until the next day I come and put the lid back on. But until now, this 6 months, it has never done that. But just imagine if this guy just like jumped on my face, I would just probably run and just shut the camera off. But okay. Next thing that I put in there, I think it's like pretty necessary, is gravel, because he literally just is the cutest thing when he just goes through the gravel just looking for food, even though he won't find any. So he also sleeps on the gravel a lot, so it's also good to put mountains and up, so you can usually just swim through it a lot. And so I used white gravel just because it blended in with the rocks and it was just too appealing, and the tension could be more on the fish than the gravel itself. There are these like LED betta fish lights where like they'll dye the betta fish. Do not get those, like they'll dye like the dye. And yeah, do not get those. There's lifespan. They probably won't even last you a month tops, even if you're like a good like aquarium keeper. So don't get those glowing betta fish. And I did put white, and that was kind of a mistake because these were painted and that's kind of chipping off and floating to the top. So that's might suffocate the gills, and I won't get it again. But for now, it hasn't been doing that for a while, so I don't find the need of or the urge of buying new ones. But try to stick with the ones that aren't painted, like the natural river rock color. Decoration wise, I didn't really put much in there because like I just wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want it to be jam packed or anything. But I did add these 3 stones of different sizes. I'll show you, insert a video actually right there of all the decorations in the tank, which there's barely anything. And yeah, I used to put these river plants that I found from the lake next to my house in there, and that really polluted the water, and I'm not gonna do it again. I think like it's like a weed that spreads really fast in lakes. So I don't know what its name is, but if I remember, I'll definitely put it over here. So yeah, definitely put some decorations in there so your fish can go swim around it and everything. And yeah, decorations are important to keep your fish nice and energized and running around the whole thing. What am I saying? Hopefully, I make sense and I wasn't rambling this whole entire time. Also almost the end of the video, guys, and so one more thing I need to tell you, decorations to stay away from is a reflective mirror, especially with the males. They'll start to blow their fins out and start staring at it. It's unhealthy for them. It's like really bad for them as well, so don't get those reflective mirrors. Try to get those aquatic plants. But the thing about aquatic plants is that you need to add a layer of some kind of plant food that's safe for fish as well. Look at it. Okay. And then you need to mix fish safe fertilizer that's healthy to plants into the water and all that stuff. So if you want to do that, it's a great option. But I would literally just stick to Marimo moss balls, as they're much easier to maintain. All you have to do is trim them a couple of days so they're nice and shaped as well. And I think you can also give them a trim underwater. I don't know. So yeah, Marimo moss balls, I really want to get one. They're fairly cheap actually. They're found at every fish store. And it is a really great beginner house plant as well. If you don't have a fish and you just want to get that, that is great as well. And Marimo moss balls do like colder temperatures. So what I would do is I'd take it out, and one day out of the whole entire 2 weeks, I would take it out and put it in a cup and probably refrigerate it for like 2 hours, and then I would just like put it back in the tank so it's nice and cool. Okay guys, that's it for this week's video, and hopefully I didn't miss too much information in this care guide. And if I did miss any necessary information, don't forget to leave it in the comments down below. Hope you guys like this type of video. It was a really change from the regular houseplant type of video. So yeah, bye for now. I guess I'll see you in 2 days.